Guys, what's up? IrishEmerald here. Welcome to another Power Rankings video for you guys for the UBL D League. And after a crazy week, I would have to say in the UBL, it's going to be interesting. I definitely have a few ups and downs, and I'm pretty sure my co-star here, Otto, has got a few ups and downs as well.
Yes, for sure. I have been putting a lot of tough situations here to make my calls, but I managed, so we'll see. We had definitely some things going on before this power rankings with people spamming us gifs of trying to break in or break out certain levels of the power rankings. So we're gonna see how that came all to fruition. And again, a crazy week for battles. We're in week 3, so we're officially like 1/3 of the week of this whole season gone, and it can really still go either way. And a lot of great matches. And again, this week was, to me personally, it was crazy again for you guys that didn't watch my Twitter. I put it out there. I basically got sent a new router, which I didn't ask for, which didn't even work until Thursday, which is the day this video goes up. So basically, what I had to do to get this in time is I had to watch stuff from my mobile data or in my breaks at work to get the power rankings to you guys. But again, I wanted to make it this time on the day, so here we are. And hopefully, again, things are gonna turn out at least better for me next week. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for those power rankings, of course. So let's just jump into the screen here. We have them on, and before we are gonna jump, actually, I don't think I've sent you my picks at all, right?
Oh, so I'm looking at this fresh. I do not know who you have or ranked anywhere.
Yeah, usually we share our picks before we do the video. Like, we don't talk about what happened or why we put stuff at a certain place, because of course that's the discussion we want to save for this video. But usually we know from each other where stuff is, and this time he doesn't know where I have stuff. So let's start off with the first thing, my number 10. And we already know there's a thing going on with my number 10. That it has been the same team throughout the whole season. And Cynics, man, you're not there anymore. You're not there. It happened. And before we're gonna talk about the racer wins, also one thing I wanted to point out and something I wanted to clear up. I think Cynics is really an awesome dude, and something I do have to give him a shout out for as well is that he is probably one of the most consistent coaches we have, also with content. I think he has everything done on time. He's always the first to upload his battles and his team builder videos. It was just to me that he was the last few weeks. Like, I did not like the team on paper, and I didn't really agree with most of his plays, but he's gone for now for the 10th place.
I'm feeling guilty.
Yes.
Guilty.
Not there anymore. So
you have a conscience.
Yes,
you
I
actually
do.
have feelings.
So
empathy.
Yeah, it definitely was not something from my point against the coach or whatever, as I explained before. But before we're gonna talk too much about Cynics here, we actually have to talk about a different coach, because you've bumped this one up actually by +1, putting it in the number 7 spot.
Yeah,
and
I did.
Yes, to me, I'll start this one off because this is like my number 10. I was, as I said in the previous week, I was really close at having the racer wins at number 10 last week as well for their performance against Skyrender, which basically we already went over the pun, but the team really became a punching bag, and I felt like he played better this week than last week, although it wasn't really too hard to play better than last week, like, admittedly. And I still feel like this team I still don't feel the team. I keep saying breaking is a huge issue for this team, and it keeps proving to be an issue for this team, and he just took 2 really big L's back to back. And this is something I usually don't do, but I think if I refer to the actual standings, he's also lost in there. Don't quote me on that, but I think he is, based on his differential. So yeah, I really haven't seen much from this team so far this season, which makes me want to move him up or do whatever with him. So we have a new number 10 on my side, but maybe you can explain why you gave him the little +1 there.
I will. I felt JB had a much better performance this week. Now, as you said, like wasn't hard to improve, but I definitely felt it was a big improvement. It was very alike to his week one performance, which I felt, it was the best losing coach in week one. I felt it was much more akin to his performance that week. I ain't going to be too critical of him because it's very hard to prepare for Choice Band Mudsdale. There's an awful lot of threats on Ash's team, so it's very hard to prepare for all of them. And a Choice Band Mudsdale isn't something that that's going to be high on the list of priorities when you're going to prep. So I'm not going to go too hard on him for saying the prep was bad. He had like a couple of nice counters there. He knew he needed something to counter D-Dan Salomons. He brought the Scarf Latios for that. I just feel like he couldn't get any momentum because Choice Band and Mudsdale was just no real switch into it after Palo Sound went down, or whenever Ash was able to predict Palo Sound, it got broken through and he had no answer for it. So it was kind of tough for him to get momentum throughout the game because of that. And I felt that I felt like he's close. He's close to getting his first W. Much more closer than my number 10, which we'll get into a little bit. But I feel like he's close to getting his first W. I would have liked to have seen him be a little more aggressive when Jirachi was trying to do that wish pass and stuff in front of Zapdos and was getting powered a lot and all that. I would have liked to seen him be aggressive a little bit, bring the Scizor, try and wrestle some momentum back, landed a big U-turn on it, and then kind of, put himself in a bit of a situation where he could kind of control and dictate the pace of the game. Look, I think he's close, as I said, to getting his first W. And
okay. We're going to see next
week. For me,
what is.
I'm hoping he can do it next week. I really hope so. But I just feel like his performance is better than last week, and it was better than my 10, 9, and 8 seeds. So, JB, I'm giving you a lot more love than Auto. Auto has to hate on somebody once a week.
Hey, hold on.
You're my friend. But you're not getting to hate off me this week, buddy. You're not getting to hate off me this week.
Okay, well then, let's see where your hate is going to go this week. And your number 10 is still remaining the same in the Chicago Shaymin-Sky. So since it's your number 10, let's see what you have to say about their performance this week. As they played, they played Ashmore, right?
They played 6. So the Razor Winds, JB played Ash. That was the other thing. That's another point. He was playing in a top tier team. So, I don't like. I was just being ridiculously harsh. Let's just be honest here, folks. But it was Serene versus the 6 this week. So it was my number 9 and my number 10 team, and you just cannot lose to the number 9 team and expect to go above number 10. Like it can't be done. Not realistic. So you're Sarah's just going to stay down there no matter what. A couple of other critiques as well. There was no answer to she had no answer for Nasty Plot Mew. I was personally stunned because I've seen Serene use Mew in other leagues before. So the fact that she was so underprepared for that for a Mew set like that, an offensive Mew set like that, stunned me because of her knowledge of Mew from previous leagues. So a bit, not really feeling that one. I was a little bit disappointed. It was nice to see Minio do some work this week. But she never positioned herself for Minio to win late game, which is pretty much what Minio are supposed to do. Put your opponent in the position where Minio could just sweep, and with acrobatics, EQ, and Stone Edge. She never put herself in that position, which was kind of a little bit unfortunate because if she brought the Maul this week if she had, which it's my constant criticism, but if she had something else that could do the wall breaking, Minio could have swept late game potentially. But look, overall, I just feel like her team isn't working as a unit yet. She hasn't been able to get her team to get to the point where certain mons have a certain role each week and against particular chip on different mons so that her win con would win. I feel like she hasn't been able to get to that point yet this season. Hopefully she does. Hopefully she can turn it around. But for me, 6 for the majority was in control of the game, and there's not more I can say about it. If you lost the number 9 ranked team, you got to stay at number 10.
Yeah, I have this team at 9. So I dropped it again one spot after it came from a very long place. It came from the second to all the way to number 9 for me now, and I still like the team on paper, but I feel like Serene hasn't, what you said before, hasn't been able to put her win cons in a winning position. Minio was a bit threatening here, but the Ice Shark Mammoth Swine was in the back the whole time, so couldn't really be scared about that, to be honest. And one thing which I really didn't understand, and not sure, I don't think you mentioned that before, but there were at least two times, maybe even three, in the battle where it was all so obvious that Rotom Wash was going to click Defog, and you don't switch in Superior. Like, you get that free evasion boost there. Plus, you know that Rotom cannot touch you at all. Even if it runs Hidden Power Fire or Ice, it's still not going to hurt you. You even had Synthesis on it. So, I was like, why don't you make that play multiple times? Which is really something which always comes back to me. Like, you don't position your winning cons in a position to let them be win cons. Which is basically, again, for me, a reason why I dropped the team another spot here.
I have to agree. That's a very good point. She should have played around that a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. But let's see what you actually have at number 9, and that is going to be the New South Wales, which is a -3 for you. It's remained 7 for me for now, but I remember when I had this team at number 9, and you were like, "Oh, that's harsh, man. That's harsh." And now we switched around, because I think at that point you had it 7th and I had it 9. Now we just swapped those around. So let's hear why the -3 for the Wilmers.
Nice and chill before we start this video, but I'm not going to be chill here. Bird was woefully underprepared this week. Underprepared. Yes, Bandit Darm did do work against Vespa's team, and yeah, he was up against Vespa's, was like the number ranked team, and you could say Irish -3 against putting someone down -3 after going up against the best coach of the league is harsh. And yeah, that's a fair point, but if you're woefully underprepared going against the number ranked team in the league, then you deserve to be dropped. I don't care. Like, come on. You know this guy has been bringing stuff. He bought Special Lando week 2, and you don't prepare. You gotta have like your stuff together here. He didn't at all. He found Bandit Darm did do work, right? No problem whatsoever. That is great prep, well spotted. Like, the only thing that Vespas had that could really probably tank it was, like
Rotom Heat.
Fully Fizz Depth. Yep, Rotom Heat can't tank it, and was like, fully Fizz Depth Toad, but even then it's like taking like 47%, at that point. So like, that was the only thing that could really take a hit from it. Like, so brilliant. That's a great idea. Where was the idea around who was going to kind of clean up after Darm did the work? Like, I didn't see any plan as to who was going to be the late game cleaner after Darm did the breaking, because Bandit Darm is breaking, but it ain't going to sweep. So what was the notion? What was the plan? I don't know what was going on. It was like, talk about being woefully underprepared. You're going to have a wall breaker, but you're not going to have a sweeper.
Yeah, that's one of the things which
what is going on?
I really missed, like maybe even both, but I was really surprised on team prep to not see Coco and or Nia Lego in that kind of role, considering you have this kind of Darmanitan. And I know that those are special attackers, and that he has a Alolan Muk, which can be assault fast and can be annoying, but still, Rotom was just full switches on that one, and Nia Lego, you just wait till it's gone, and for all the other stuff that he had, stuff as Rotom and such, you just power jam that and it's gone.
Yeah, you were talking about Alolan Muk, like, Alolan Muk isn't going to like beat Bandit Darm, like, that's not going to be a thing. So
no, I meant that it's going to counter Nia Lego and Coco to a certain extent.
But like, if you're looking at that as being your cleaner, then you expect the Darm to be like, you expect the position Darm to be to break through Alolan Muk. Yeah, sure. Like if you're going to have him on as a cleaner, then you have the breaker to be able to break through what's going to wall it, and that's like, for me that would have been like good prep, but that's not what happened. I don't count Crook as a late game cleaner if it was Scarf, because Lando is a really hard answer if it's like Rocky Helmet to like Bandit Darm, and it can wall Crook as well if it's like fully Fizz Depth, Rocky Helmet. that kind of shenanigans like that, like Darm will be slowed down there and won't be able to break it, and that could be a little bit difficult. Now, you know, it will wear Darm down, but it won't do the full breaking that you would need. You would have needed Darm to do. So I don't like Crook as the cleaner here if it was Scarred. Not a fan of it. Like for me, the prep was awful. Some of the play, the battle, like after the first couple of turns where Abomasnow kind of revealed what I was going to be doing, and Veps has kind of like repositioned himself. Like he never, like a little bit of momentum was Darm when Darm came in and revenge killed after Veps has got the first kill of the game, and after that, like, you know, Veps has just kind of played around him and just picked him off slowly but surely, like a surgeon. You know, it was clinical. So I have to kind of give like it was a shocking performance by Bird, shocking, and the frustration after the battle, complaining about how Veps has brought 5 special attacking mons and 1 physical, and then he's complaining about who the hell brings that. Well, I tell you who the hell brings that. The number 1 ranked team in the league brings it and wrecks you with it. So start like shaping up a little bit, get the prep a little bit better, tighten up a little bit, son, and like, you know, show me a little bit more, because he's 1 and 2 and his 1 win is from hacks. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And this week, I've defended him a couple of times. Not defending this week. Down to number 9. Show me something next week.
Yeah, I guess that's also one of the things. Like, you really cannot complain about your opponent not bringing the sets you think they are going to bring. Like, that's not how this game works. And it's also like, of course, sometimes it happens that someone brings a set against you that doesn't make sense, but it was not the case this week. And it's like, again, we're gonna talk a little more about Special Lando later, but it made sense to be brought this week. It wasn't like, oh, Lando's always gonna be physical, what are you doing? So that's also the part which I didn't really get. But for now, he's gonna remain still at number 7, because I was debating for 8 this week because of the loss, but gonna give him 1 more week and see how stuff goes from there. But I think we should wrap this one up and go to our number 8 here, which we actually do share, and it are the Toronto Tyrantrums. +2 for me, +1 for you. So yes, I do have to say, because I enjoyed watching the game for sure. That's one really good thing. I think there's still a few turns here which could have made better plays, like for example the Will-O-Wisp on the Araquanid, plays like that. But in general, I feel the improvement is there from previous weeks. And also one thing which I really have to give a shout out for to Cynics here is that something I said during the post-draft power rankings, he keeps bringing that offensive Mew and it keeps putting in the work. And that is what I like to see, not that standard defensive Mew every week, but try to bring different sets. This time again, Nasty Plot with the Z move. Was part of bring this week, especially since he noticed really early in the game that Serene did not brought a Dark type this week. So,
but on that point though, I didn't see him the Mew weakness as much as I would have liked to have seen him exploit it.
Yeah, like it's still, he could have executed it a little bit better, maybe. Like, cause I don't think against Latios he switches out, which of course Incineroar was a correct switch, but I still think even if Latios had Shadow Ball, which it did, it would not have killed Mew, and that probably could have picked up the Latios as well, or Latias, actually it was Latias, and save yourself a bit of trouble late game. But I still feel like the intention, the prep has always been there, and it just comes down to him making better plays week by week. So I hope that he can keep the progression going. And again, as I said before, I was really close at dropping the Whalmus to spot 8. So the plays for him to be at 7th for next week is really there if he keeps up the performance for me.
Yeah, I have to agree. Much needed win. The Mew set was fantastic, worked like a charm. As I said, I would have liked it.
Yeah, because he kind of broke me up there, but the fact he realized that, like, how he positioned Mew early and spot like, hey, she just doesn't have a Dark type. I don't have to bust my Z move here. I can just click Psychic and just do damage because she has no immunity to this.
Yeah, and it was well spotted. Definitely huge props. I would have loved to have seen Mew come in and put more pressure on Serene throughout the game because she had no answer to it. Great choice in the lead. He read that very, very well into a cannon because he read the Araquanin lead. So great choice in lead there. Delighted with that. He had a few misplays. He completely misplayed around Minior. I felt completely misplayed around it. Not calculating the damage correctly when he was trying to figure out what was going on with it, and not bringing Mammoth I shared it. When he, there was that's two very big blunders back to back there. If you're going up against another coach in this league, that's going to cost you a W. So definitely a bit of scope to improve on there. I would like him. The only thing I would like to see him improve on is I would like to see him start analyzing situations in games a little bit more. I find that he's able to kind of spot a couple of things where she's got no dark side this week, so I can bring Mew, and Mew can do a lot of work here the whole time. To see him analyze games and situations a little bit more, like when his especially his commentary. Now maybe he does it, but it might not come across in his commentary, and if so, I apologize. But I would like to see him analyze the situation a little bit more. Like, for instance, he knew Mew would do an awful lot of work. He knew Mew would be able to put so much pressure on Serene's team, but we never see him talk about or try and plot how he can position Mew into the game where Mew can then click nasty plot and break through something. We never see him talk about how he's tried to position the pieces on his team to beat his opponent. I would like to see him start analyzing the game and look a couple of turns ahead and try and look at where he can, what moves and what plays he needs to do to put a certain mon or a certain mon to do work and get the valuable chip damage or get the KO or get the 50% off on somebody, and to allow him to open the door for him to get the W. I would like to see him start doing that, and I think if he can start doing that a little bit more, he'll start seeing the improvement in his games, and we start seeing more and more stuff doing work for him. I think that's definitely something, like, based off what I've seen so far, that he could definitely start improving on.
Yeah, I guess it's still something you mentioned, as with the misplays against Minior. As his game wasn't flawless, he still made a few plays in game which could have been better, but I still think the prep overall is decent, and he's improving for me over the past few weeks, so that's also why I buffed him up a little bit. But we're going to see what he can bring on the next weeks, and with that, we're going to jump into the top 6, and we are going to make something else happen, because Zinek's now gone out of the 10th spot, so the Jeff there comes through. And another thing here, which we have to talk about, is that finally, hashtag slow brush for top 6, guys. It happened.
It happened. God, yeah. It did. It's
there on the screen, guys. IrishEmerald, number 6, Slovenia slow bros. They're there.
You know something? He deserved it this week. I feel like he deserved it this week. I feel like he put in a very good performance up against the coach that we had ranked higher in the power ranking. So, very impressive there. We finally got to see a little bit more of what Marla is made of. Look, the problem, really, I think we can when we analyze and read this game, with like how Marla's play style is and how how the game panned out, it kind of showed an awful lot to me as to what we could potentially be seeing for the rest of the season from him. And that is that Marla has this great ability of putting pressure on somebody and getting good chip and picking a couple of mons off here and there. But the problem is that because of, you could argue his roster, and you could definitely argue because other coaches are very skilled, but other coaches seem to have a way, especially like Thumb, for example, like the top end coaches in the league have a way of knowing, okay, I'm up against Marat, this is my win con. I know that, okay, he's going to be picking things off here and there, but if I keep this in the back, and I feel like Marla, as the game went on, that's exactly what happened. He's picking things off here and there, he's getting chip here, chip there, all that kind of good stuff. And then Celesteela came in, fully healthy, after Thumb had absorbed the pressure and gone a little bit chip on his own, and it was going to be GG's, other than I'm going to assume a misclick from Thumb because Thumb was unable to get inside of the battle up. But I'm assuming a misclick from Thumb on the Raikou meant that sweep, and therefore it opened the game wide open again. So look, I was impressed with Maris' performance, and I definitely do think, like, is he choking it away? I definitely feel like he did choke away the win after he looked out with the misclick by Thumb. But I think based off the fact that we've seen him apply to his opponent early and mid-game, he's kept his style of battle. It wasn't the case where another coach just came in who was better and just totally pummeled him, like based off our power rankings, I should say. But didn't pummel him. He still played to his game plan. He played to his style. He was still able to put pressure on. It was just the case where he was up against a really good coach who had an answer, had a really good prep, and it just ended up being that he wasn't meant to pick up the W this week. So I was very impressed. I bumped him up one because of it. If he had beaten Thumb, he would have gone up higher. But I'm sure that in the weeks to come, he'll based off what I've seen, we'll see him get a couple of more other wins against higher ranked coaches.
Yeah, and this is something I want to come back to, which I said last week, and I said already that I was impressed with how he approached the season, how he played the first couple of weeks, and his schedule was getting a lot tougher power ranking wise. This week, next week, and moving on, and he held his own definitely in this game against a team we had ranked really high in my opinion. So I definitely have no reason to drop him down. Not a reason to move him up either, because I just feel like with the top 5 teams we're gonna get into next, it was just for me, I couldn't justify myself putting it above any of those 5s for now, but he definitely held his own, and the crits were definitely unfortunate for him too, because I feel like without them he would have won the game, I personally think. But yeah, this is something that happens, and he definitely held his own, which was my most important thing. Next week he's going to face the Hydreigons, which we have been having at number 1 the whole time, so definitely I'm looking forward to see how he's going to do that, if he's still able to hold his own against that team. And if he does, like, win or lose, what I said last week, I want to see him perform well against those kind of teams too, because so far he only faced bottom ranked power ranking teams, so that's something I wanted to see. And maybe a bomb I'm dropping right here, but so far for me, this game is, game of the season. I enjoyed watching this game a lot. Like, it went all the way to timer. Like, of course, I mean, not actually to timer, but the timer at 0, although the battle was gone. And it went back and forth the whole time. Both coaches tried so hard to keep up that momentum, and it just was a phenomenal. And it was that I looked at the result before watching the battle. But if I didn't, I can really understand that for someone who is just watching games for fun, like not supporting 1 to 2 teams, that this was a blessing to watch this game. Like, this is how you want to see a draft league battle, in my opinion.
It was good. I don't know if it was game of the season though.
So far.
It's up there. It's up there, but I don't know if it's my favorite game of the season.
I mean, name me a better one so far.
With my number 5.
Okay.
I'm going to get into it, right? Because my number 5 is the choking squid. The choking squid is number 5 this week, ladies and gentlemen, because he was blazing in all of his glory when he hit number 2, and then he choked this week. That's what I'm going to call it. For me, top 3, and in the first week he gets into the top 3, he makes a huge mistake in his prep. For shame for making such a big mistake in his prep. 4 months weak to rock coverage, and Sky, his opponent, has access to reliable rockers. So automatically he's got a huge hole there in his prep. Like, Sky just has to go in and realize, if I can get rocks up and just keep him up on his side of the field, like, I'm just going to chip away at him no matter what, right? I know Choking had the matchup this week, big matchup this week, and it just never materialized for him because of Sky's prep. Sky had this incredible prep. I didn't think it was going to work for him, but he went for it, and it worked brilliantly. I thought Squid did well in counteracting the first Trick Room that was set in the game, because Sky brought Trick Room and he brought a heavy Trick Room team. I thought Squid did a good job dealing with the first one and not allowing Sky to give a huge amount of momentum. But as the game wore on, the Trick Room went up and the momentum was gone, and Squid could just never get it back. I think at that point, Sky was just able to constantly bring in Conk very, very safely, keep chipping away with the Life Orb Sheer Force moves, and the game disintegrated in Squid's eyes. And the other thing I have a problem with as well is that there was no real Zygarde counter here. I cannot believe you do not have a Zygarde counter or check that come in and take a hit. And if you cannot tell me Savali is a counter to Zygarde when 3 other mons, excluding that Savali, are weak to rocks on your team, because you cannot rely on that coming in the whole time. You cannot. So do not give me that as an answer. That was not one. And then Donphan, he even said himself, had special defensive investment. So for me, he had no real answer to a Zygarde. If Zygarde clicked D-Dance in that game, that could have been a massive problem. But we didn't see Zygarde this week. We saw Trick Room. So that just I don't understand the prep there, right? If Zygarde top 3 mod in the format, you don't have to prep against it. That's that's bad. And then 4 mons weak to rocks, that's shocking again. For me, you can't be doing these sort of things and expect to stay top 3. You have to go down. So back down to number 5 you go, and let's see what you can come up with next Squid. Because over that now. Big question marks after this week.
Yeah, for me it wasn't really I feel for me still -3 is harsh, but it's more.
It's the truth, Auto. It's the truth.
From my point of view, it's I have to look at the performance of the others as well, and I couldn't put it above any of the 4 teams we're going to list right now, because my top 5 was really hard to assemble this week to me, because I had to make a lot of 50-50s, and I had to give someone the bullet. It ended up being the Totodile, and in general, I wasn't really sure. Again, would you say Zygarde? If Zygarde clicked D-Dance was the first thing I wrote down against his team. +1/+1 Zygarde wins versus this team if executed right.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's mad.
Thundy was well checked. A lot of good prep for Changro too. And he just got off by the Trick Room, even though it was a real potential versus his team. Wasn't really prepped for it, and again, he just got punched through by Skyrander, who's making great performance after great performance so far. So
yeah,
I'm still have confidence in the Totodile. I didn't put him at 6. That was way too harsh. Even though I feel the Slowbros played well, but I definitely feel like Squid will bounce back for sure. I don't think he will end the season at this number 5 spot. I still believe in the team and in the coach, but for now, someone to catch the bullet, and I don't think I have much else to add which you didn't point out already. One other thing I want to kind of point out. I said earlier that Bird was woefully underprepared. Squid was just as woefully underprepared this week. If he keeps being as woefully underprepared, and I praised him last week for how prepared he was and how well he knew his calcs off the top of his head, but he was woefully underprepared this week. Yeah, but let's see what's happened next week. But for now, we're gonna jump into number 4, which we also share, the Salt Lake City Swampers, which is the first time we both have this team out of the number, out of the top 3. Top 3, yeah. And again, I enjoyed this crit, but I definitely think this team would have lost if it wasn't for the crits. I thought that. Yeah. Also, well. By the way, he choked with Celesteela. Yeah. Look, that for me, that's the reason why he's my S1. I felt that, the crits were of course, crits are nasty, right? And the crit on Bayonet at the end was that was harsh, but look, at the end of the day, he was in the position to win the game, and he threw it with a misclick. Right now, he won, right, and there was you could argue that Marlock kind of choked a little bit, and I do think so as well. Yeah, but for me, you got the win.
and you suffered it. You took a couple of shots. You have a couple of wounds from it. Just gotta lick those wounds off and dust yourself down, and come back with a stronger performance next week. You learn from your mistakes, and luckily enough, he made mistakes and still got the W. So look, there's not much, for me. There's not too much more we can kind of analyze and dig deeper into. Like, he put himself in a win position and he messed up.
Yeah, that's kind of the summary about the game. Indeed, he got Celestine in a position to win, choked it away. Then he almost lost if it wasn't for Yuxi critting back-to-back. And that's basically the whole game summarized. But in the end, though, like, these games happen throughout the season. Even though this season is only 9 weeks long, which most leagues are longer. But you'll have your games where you don't prep well once in a while, where you don't... where you choke away something which we should have won, and he can definitely be happy that one of his games, actually the first game that he choked, he still managed to win. So in the rankings, it didn't hurt him there, which is definitely a good thing. But as you guys said, I don't think there's much else we can really talk with about this team. So we're gonna move on to the top 3. And for myself, and I know your rankings too, but I wanted to give 2 teams the opportunity to be here in the top 3 and see if they can manage that. And I see you did the same. And we did this before with the Totodile. Just put them up there, see if they can manage. And again, for me, if they start to play just on the level they were before this week, they'll be back pretty soon. But
one of my new top teams in the top 3 was in my top 3. Earlier on this season.
Yeah, for me too.
You know, it dipped down, dipped back up again, but like that's, you know, that happens. So
yes, but there's a little something we disagree here, because right now my number 3, your number 2, the team where you were talking about, the Appalachian Thunder.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Do you want to take it away?
Do I want to take it away? Sure. I think this. I think IrishEmerald played his cards really well this week, and to the sense that. We had them, by the way, in the top 3 before, and I think week 1. I think we had them at full post-draft, and then week 1 we had them top 3. But same as actually last week, where he played Serene Grace, he was able to put himself in situations where... Yeah, we won. Where he put himself in situations where he couldn't really misplay, and that's something I liked about his game style, that he knew his win cons from his... also with his type of team build, but... He just knows, I need to chip this, I need to chip that, I need to get this damage off on that one, I need to get that one off the list first, and then this thing can do work. And throughout the whole game, he kept positioning himself well for his win cons to be able to come in and win the game. He wasn't relying on anything specifically, because as soon as I saw it was like a 5-0 I think he had, I was like, okay, what swept? And nothing swept. It was just like... He kept just beating the team from left to right and position his monsters in a way where they can deal damage freely to their opponents, where they cannot really misplay by much. Of course, he had to make some predictions, mainly early game with the Mozilla. By the way, phenomenal set there. But
yes.
He had to make 1 or 2 mind games there. He got them right. But from there onwards, as he explained in his video as well, he basically just wanted to put himself in a position where he can just click buttons and it works, and that he cannot misplay anymore. That's something that I really liked about his game this week, and that definitely puts him in the top 3 for me again. And the reason I have him at 3rd, and I want to hear about you why you have it number 2 later on, but for me, he beat my number 10, so I want to be a little bit more holding back for now, but he definitely earns his spot back in the top 3 for me this week.
For me, he's like, all your points were like spot on. The exact same thing. They're my exact same thoughts on it. He's my number 2 because he bet my number 8 team, and I felt that his performance was the complete performance. He had like pretty much control of the entire game, whereas my number 3 had a fantastic performance, but there was moments where his opponent kind of almost crept back in, and then he shut him down again. But that was never the case, from my perspective anyways, with Ash's team this week. Ash had, like, for me, very good control over the game constantly, and the Mudsdale set was fantastic. We got to highlight that. The Mudsdale set was brilliant.
Yeah, for sure.
Brilliant. And it takes courage to bring a choice band Mudsdale to Elite Battle, so I give him props.
Especially guys, let us go back, because I want to list off the team real quick, which he had to face. Ladios off the ground, Zapdos off the ground, Landorus off the ground. Did he have anything more? Like, he already had 3 immunities in high tier mons, and he had a steel type which is not weak to it on top of that. And by just having to be able to bring that, still bring that set and still make it do work for a ground type, which ground is arguably a type you should not have brought versus this team, but it did work anyways because you positioned it right.
And it just goes to show when it comes to, like, you know, these type of battles, if you can position them on to do work, it will do exactly that. So it's like a lot of cases, it's all about just positioning and like trying to think ahead a few turns and figure out where can I put pressure to force this scenario and this situation for me to capitalize. So Ash is like phenomenal at it. You know, like he's going to continue like with these excellent performances for the rest of the season.
Alright, and then going into the thing we swapped here, because you have them at number 3, I have them at number 2, Scandinavia Style Class +3 for me. One of the few teams this season so far which I've been given +3. +3 is the biggest plus I've given throughout the whole season so far, and they will get themselves anyways. I was really excited about them last week, and how they
did everything right for you last week, Otto. Everything right for you last week, and they never went up 1 spot.
Yeah,
right?
He got
They deserve 3. They deserve 3 this week.
No. He got +1. He got +1 last week, but this week.
No, I don't know. I think
you can check the video.
That's not how my memory. That's not how my memory works now. Well, I remember you saying he had everything. Oh, I don't know. No.
You can check fact that. You can check fact that. But besides, I was really impressed last week as well, and I said at the end of the video that if he could get up this play, like keep it up, and also do it against higher ranked teams, then it was a no-brainer for me to put him in the top 3 here, and that's exactly what he did. He won like pretty impressive in my personal opinion against a team which we have been having in the top 3 the whole season so far, and bringing Trick Room, which was of course a good bring for him, but still you still have monsters Thundy, Zygarde, Greninja, like monsters that don't really enjoy Trick Room, but getting your aura things again, make Conkeldurr like get the most out of it again, making Diancie do a crap ton of work, and that just really has to get my respect for that. And he did what I asked for in the previous video again, so I have no reason to not give him the props for that. I put him in the top 3, and for me, Starplants and Thunders were really close which one was going to take number 2. But for me, the fact that the Thunders beat my number 10 ranked team, and the Stoutlands beat the team which we had in the top 3 the whole time, made me go with the Stoutlands for now, because I feel like their performance have been similar throughout the whole season. Like, they had a tough matchup against Vapsis, both lost that, and then the other games they played really, really well. And just a little edge of him playing a better team this week, and also the little edge of I'm liking his team in general a bit more, just pushed me to putting him at number 2. But I think you already quickly touched on why you had him number 3 this week.
It was just, you know, I felt like Ash's performance was overall better, and for me, he was up against my number 18. So that was the reason why he kind of went number 2. But Sky, my man, double Trick Room, had major doubts about it. I said it earlier, but execution of it was fantastic. Kong's coverage, what work that thing was doing! Wow, just like there was no answer to it. The choking squid had nothing for it, nothing. So basically, every time Trick Room went up again and again, and like Trick Room's the hardest like thing to do in singles, but again and again it was working, and again Kong came in and was like, "Slap! Who wants a piece of me?" And there was nothing, absolutely nothing. What I loved about his prep as well, though, about Sky's prep, was that he did everything, just squeeze as much as he could, because he really did not have the matchup. He had an atrocious matchup this with. But he did the best he could with like berries and EVs. Like the prep was like insane, and he went to squeeze as much as he possibly could out of. And for me, it was the best performance from Sky thus far. And like as we said, if he keeps going, he'll be thereabouts at the end of the season, knocking on the door for honors. So great performance, Sky. Keep it up, buddy. Can't wait to see more from you.
Definitely. And something which I quickly want to touch on before going to go into a number one. I am so looking forward to the week 4 match between the Stoutlands and the Thunders.
Oh
that's
gonna be a killer game. Like number 2 and number 3 on the two of us, like one of them's going to go, one of them's dropping. So that should be an insane match.
Yeah,
insane.
Like this is going to be one of the matches you definitely want to watch. So stay tuned for that. But we both put them in the top 3, like saying, hey, we're giving you the confidence for now. Like the slide of the edge to just put you guys in there above the 2 we had in the top 3 for a longer period. And just show us you're up against each other. Show us your best prep, your best sets, your best plays, and show why we put you in the number 3, in the top 3 spot. So let's see how that turns out. But without further ado, number 1, 4 time in a row, Helsinki High Dragons.
And Vepsis, he's a bad man. I'm telling you, this guy just wrecks people. Doesn't matter who they are. Ash was that's the reason why I think my favorite game so far is Ash and Vestus in week 2, because that was the hardest we've seen Vestus being pushed. But like week 3 came and went for Vestus. He just went in, had the prep done, clicked a few buttons. GG, get out of here, bird. Give me, let me continue my undefeated streak. I'm moving on to the next one. Clinical, merciless. Loved every single bit of it. Bring it on more. That's all I want to see. I want to see somebody get this guy off the number 1 spot. Give this guy an L. But for me, I don't see it. This man's a bad man, and he's just wrecking anything, anything, any Pokemon that's coming across his way. I'm loving it right now.
Yeah, again, just as weeks before, his prep was definitely on point. He just checked his whole opponent by the 60 brought, which was definitely a great prep on my part. Couldn't have done much better myself. And again, a lot of good predictions throughout the game too. Like the way he got Kyurem in against the Clef switching out into Rufflet. Of course, he didn't know it was going to be Rufflet, but again, the momentum he tried to create, the predictions with Seismitoad, and I can keep going on. He made like 4, 5, 6 predictions almost in a row, and they all turned out to be the right plays, and you don't see that much often. And Special Lando, we gave it props last week, and again, man, it's a threat. People should not underestimate those kind of sets, especially when coaches are able to position Lando right well and make it do work that way. It doesn't matter which set it runs. If you position it well, it will do work. And we didn't even get started on the Seismitoad.
I like the fact that it did work was brilliant. Toad can do work, but it was just awesome to see. The 1 or 2 things about the battle itself, I thought he played around Bandit Darm very well, very, very well, because it was good. It was without shadow of doubt going to break through his team. It was just the way that his team comp is. It was no doubt it was going to break through him. So he played around that very well in order to minimize his impact, and that was just simply, as you said, making predictions, putting Bird under constant pressure. Just not letting up on him. Reading the game superbly. Gotta give him mad props for that. The Kyurem Black set, love it. Salt Fest with the physical bulk, with a bit of investment into his special offense. Like, you ain't gonna figure that set out.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it worked. It worked. How many sets did he have this season which didn't work?
I've yet to have seen one. Every mon has had a thing or a role and a set to deal with something else on his opponent's team, which is absolutely perfect. It's the way to play draft format is that way. It's that every mon has a role and a purpose and a function. And with Vestus, it's not every mon has a function, but every mon has a fantastic, brilliant function, and it just executes. But that Kyurem Black set for me is probably, like, we saw Special Lando twice. That Kyurem Black set for me was the set this week, because like Kyurem Black comes in and you're automatically thinking here comes the pain, but like you can't figure that set out because he's taking hits with a Sawfest, and then he's taking hits on the physical side. I'm wondering, is this Kieran bulky? If so, then maybe I could come in with more Mons. But then all of a sudden, boom, there's a bit of investment there as well on the special side, so it's going to be able to slap you with an ice beam.
Yeah, people need to stop underestimate that thing and pick it up sooner, man. This is crazy. But anyways, I think with that we came to the conclusion of week 3. So again, definitely looking forward to the matches next week. As we already pointed some of them out, I want to go over a little bit more about some Slovenian Slopers, Helsinki Dragons. Also really looking forward to that one. Just to see like Marlon held his own against the Swampards, and now he's up against another tough opponent, so maybe he's the one who can do the job. Mega Bennett, maybe coming through, we're gonna see.
Wouldn't you love that, Otto? Wouldn't you love that?
Oh, I definitely won't, but anyways, other one, the Razor wins against the Wilmers, 2 teams which we have relatively low, so we're gonna see how those turn out. Toronto Totals, can they bounce back or not against the Shaymin-Skies, which we have at number 10 and number 9. And then the match we have next up is the Salt Lake City Swampers versus the Toronto Tyrantrum. So Swampers have been decently consistent throughout the whole season for us so far. Tyrantrums are on their way up, so that's going to be interesting to see. But for me, definitely the match to look out: Stoutlands versus Thunders. That's going to be hype.
Oh, let's go! I want to see it. I want to see it.
For sure. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching this other power ranking video. We love to see, of course, your reaction as always and the feedback you guys have. It's still really amazing that we can still hit like 100 or around 100 views on every single video so far, and all the likes and whatnot. So definitely great to see. Be sure to keep this one up. And unless Irish has to say something more, I guess that's gonna be it for us right now.
Just the usual, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are of the power rankings, like down below in the comment section. We'd love to see them. Love to let us know what you think we got right, wrong, whatever. If you've got any opinions about the video, what we can improve on, whatever, let us know in the comment section as well. We love reading what you guys take is on it.
For sure. But with that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys back next week.